So you never know what you're going to get with spectating randoms, and we're on today with Megatron is back. It looks like they have 0 kills. They're just at the start of the match. They're rocking the floor loot AK-74. They just swapped it out for the AMAX, and they're rocking this KSV. This series we've had on the channel for more than 5 years. We've actually had it since before Warzone came out. We used to spectate multiplayer matches, but now we kind of see how players play in the game. Sometimes we get some more on the newer casual friendly players, and sometimes we get some ultra sweats that maybe play for money in their free time, or at least they think they do. And we'll kind of see what ends up happening, and we kind of take a look at, sometimes it can be entertainment, sometimes it can just be learning experience for some people. It's just everything in between. So we'll kind of see how it goes. This person looks like they're doing a little bit of extra something for not necessarily any reason. We'll kind of see how they play. Still looting the chest. As we've learned from experience at this point of the game, one of the least effective ways to start a match is through looting. The least effective ways to come back from regain is looting. Currently, the most effective way to get started in the game is a contract. In this particular case, it looks like they're protecting themselves here. Somebody got a bounty on them, and it's set to 2,000, which is pretty high. But we'll see kind of end up what they're doing if they're just trying to avoid it. It's still only 1 bar. This is nice that we can actually see this on the HUD versus previous times that we didn't always get to see the marks or whatever. There's been a lot of bugginess with spectating randoms. So we'll kind of see what they do. They are spending a little bit of time looting, but yes, I would prioritize contracts. And if you're trying to go for kills, maybe you lean towards a scavenger, because that'll give you the 3-plate vest, so you can be a little more aggressive. Bounties are okay if you want to take on a single target and you have a UAV in the back pocket, but since the values of a UAV and scavenger are about the same, you really don't want to do it that way. So he got beamed. He kind of overexposed himself. There was a prox mine down there. The recoil ended up being a bit much. Floor loot can be like that sometimes, especially when that guy's on a head glitch and your body's fully exposed. So easy little newbie mistake there. Megatron is back, but maybe they'll, oh no, they are on controller. You can see their stick drift taking off into the upper left. It might be time to raise your dead zone, or potentially get a new controller. Oh, are they going to actually clutch out the gulag? It still looks like they're AFK. Guy complaining in the chat. Free firing, huh? Kind of hard to see. Throws the Molotov. He's probably gonna die. We'll see. Ooh, smoked. Megatron will not be back today. Sorry. They're upset in the chat. Then they randomly say chicken jockey. This is a weird landing spot. You're really not close to a vehicle by foot. There's not gonna be a lot of chest in here. And regaining is kind of terrible. There's no contracts nearby. They did several no-nos when it comes to regaining. Is that back-to-back Master Prestigers? With the other guy Master Prestiger too? They're all yapping in the chat about them lowering the TTK for more casual players to be able to win gunfights. This is not a new thing. Either adapt to it or you complain, and I guess they've chosen complain. All right, cool. Gets a little third-party action. Okay, there is somebody sniping up top. They are pretty far away. I don't know if your gun's going to have the velocity to take them out. And I think there's still somebody that we're fighting, but potentially looks like there's loot on the left, so maybe... Okay, still odd. Doesn't have really much money. That AK is sitting there. Yeah, so I think one of the things that I think a lot of people are struggling with is it is a huge contrast to what we had in Urzikstan and even MW3's version of Urzikstan. Primarily because there was just so much cash, so many tokens, so it's going to take people a little bit of time getting used to it. And then the people coming back to the game, parts of it are still more punishing than the original Verdansk. And other ones are maybe a little bit looser, but in general, the experience is a little bit more punishing. And I think they want to start there because what ends up happening is if they made it a little bit easier, then if they wanted to dial it to make it more punishing, they would probably get pushback. At least now they came back a little bit more rough, or maybe not enough plates, not enough contracts. Maybe you need like at least $100 out of a chest. Maybe, you know, a little bit more or less changes in certain areas. And then more people are happy. But like right now, I think a lot of people are just happy to be able to play the game again. The map does carry quite a bit, but we'll see what ends up happening. The guys on top of the building to your right, you saw them, I believe. And now you're going to go for your loadout. So one thing that also a lot of people said to me in my last video about loadout videos is I made a comment. I said, the average player is not getting 2 loadouts. They're just not. So the vast majority of the time, most people are going to hit a loadout. That is the one and only loadout on the match. Maybe they come back zone 5. That'll be their other loadout. But it's not going to be like they're holding on to the same guns and have a need for 8 attachment loadouts. As we can see, the person he killed, the other person, this person, the other one we spectated, basically nobody has a loadout gun. We're already into zone 2 and the free loadout's already dropped in. And there they go. They're rocking AMAX and the HDR. I don't know. That is a blueprint, so I'm not really familiar with all the blueprints. But we'll see if the name pops up when he swaps back. But HDR, 100%. They are rocking Scavenger. As we can see, they have the bugged out ammo. If they check the inventory, it'll give you the accurate ammo count. Hopefully that gets bugged. I'm pretty sure that's the bundle AMAX. So he basically has 2 long-range weapons. Even though the AMAX does kill and is viable up close, it is less practical. The AK-74 is the prime meta option for up close, but we used to see this a lot in Verdansk back in OG. People would run like a kilo with an HDR, which we know is not optimal. And I think the TTK is at a point where you could do suboptimal loadouts and that's still fine. And that's kind of where the game excels, where a lot of people don't necessarily realize it. There's a lot of people coming back to the game and like, oh, I have to level everything. Not really. Like, you can give you 2 rocks and you're probably going to have a decent enough TTK to get a kill, right? You don't have to level the rocks. But it's just kind of how it goes. You just start there, use some of the default loadouts, maybe get in the swing of things, do some casual, maybe rock some plunder. If you have multiplayer zombies, those are optimal ways as well to level and kind of go from there. So they are kind of holding them out of the gas, but they do have to rotate, right? They're going to have to rotate across this little bridge here, this walkway, cut across. Somebody already took the vehicle, so they're already behind on the rotation. There are people fighting across the way. This person will probably get cut off in transition. There are people heavily fighting across. It looks like the audio is somewhere over here, maybe even further. It's hard to tell now because the audio, when people have gunfire of suppressed or unsuppressed weapons, you get a general idea of where they're at on the map. And I don't ever remember it being that far. So I don't know if that's a change that has increased a little bit of the third party. But they're still going to be held out. They got 2 minutes for this slower rotation. But it's going to be on them. And once it gets on them, it's going to be a little bit rough. So realistically, they should probably like consider using that LTV and then utilize that. That is one of the most versatile, powerful vehicles in the game. Obviously, the Bertha is the most like durable, and the other like off-road vehicle is pretty good. But the LTV kind of is like the jack of all trades right now in terms of survivability, especially in solos. We'll see kind of how it looks towards the end game, because I think the LTV is one of those things that's helping people position a little bit better, control some of the variables because of this punishing TTK, which, like I said, has its pros and cons. All right, coming through, getting some more loot. Realistically, they're not going to get much more cash because that's not the way the loot boxes work unless they're gold. They're already fully plated. They already have their ammo. Maybe they want a field upgrade. That's potential. I don't know how they were able to rotate for free. That player that rotated in there, they just took too long to get the heck out of there. That person should have rotated earlier and been able to hold them. They may still get held up here. There is a vehicle. Oh, there is somebody camping. Good little headshot there. Did not get the full kill. But is a little bit exposed, crossing in the open. There's somebody else fighting to the right. You can hear the gunfire like just to that right side. Still on the low ground. So one thing that a lot of people are talking about too is these zone pools. They're like, man, these are garbage or whatever. Destroyed. It was a bad push. Very bad push. We called it. They just walked up and got decimated. Level 55. Mr. Plan B. Okay. See, this is somebody actually utilizing the melee. A lot of people were confused in the comments section when I talked about this, is that when you pull out the melee weapon, I know a lot of returning players, you have to hold the melee weapon to pull out the melee weapon. And what will end up happening is you get the unlimited tactical sprint with the melee weapons out. You may have to worry about swapping your weapons to get into a gunfight. But if you're struggling across an open field, if you want to speed up that speed overall of your just running speed, you're gonna pull those out and that'll be a little more effective for you. You don't have to worry about like the old days where you had to reset your tac sprints or whatever like that. It's intentionally designed that way so that you get two ways to get unlimited tac sprint. You either use the perk 2 Sprinter, which I think is a little overrated with the access to this. And the only reason you'd probably run that is if you just wanted that extra mobility and you found yourself getting caught with your melee weapons too often, then maybe it's worked. But that's more of a habit thing, that if you get in the habit of just pulling out the melee weapons, that's going to be a huge advantage for you. So they have the heartbeat sensor, which is meta again. They popped the UAV, which we can't see on their inventory. That's a bug. There's somebody that just drove by. Perfect way to go ahead and scout the area. Keep in mind that the UAVs on the spectator camera have been a little bit bugged, so we don't always see all the pings that are available. So we end up going with the Grakova. So they end up going 8 attachment AMAX that looks a little bit funky, but they went for the 8 attachment and they only got the 1 gun. Grakova's okay, it's serviceable. But again, it's somebody didn't get 2 loadouts, or else they'd have a meta SMG, one of the 3 or 4 of them. Very smart, playing for a win. Hiding these, I think those need a little bit of a nerf in the sense that you should be able to go prone under them to avoid that damage. I think that's a misstep that they added with Warzone 2's integration, I believe. That should definitely be reverted. That's always been kind of a thing in COD where you could just go prone under them. And Warzone was very much the same until they changed up some of the engine mechanics. So I would like to see that reverted, because you're still at a penalty if you got to go to the ground, right? Like, it's not like, oh man, you survived. Nope, you got to still get back up. The animation's a little bit slower. And they still have the intel of where you're at, right? Swaps to the melee weapon. Peeking the area. You can hear the gunfire. Heartbeat sensor. Good. They position themselves like in an angle where they're going to have a clear vantage point of what the heartbeat sensor is going to do, even though realistically, no one should be popping up on their heartbeat at all. And I think for the spectator part of it, we won't actually see the ping in the spectator view. They may see it, but we won't see it. So they're just positioned smartly. And there's probably people going to say, man, this dude's camping. This is how you play battle royales if you're a solo player trying to get a win. I would probably wait here is perfectly fine. But the second you get that next zone, you got to start repositioning. They did do 1 contract. We don't necessarily know what that is. They do have the extra 8-plate vest. So maybe they did a scavenger, but they didn't really move the needle beyond that. Also, on the outside of the minimap, you can see that red outline. that is the indicator that somebody sees you as a red dot on their UAV. So if you're running Ghost and you're wondering, are you being seen because you're not moving? If that red outline's there, you are being seen to another player. That's kind of generally how that mechanic works. Huge quality of life. You can see now it's gone. So that UAV disappeared. Somebody called in a precision on the other side. You still are in zone. And this is a very hard zone. Very, very hard zone. Rotating to the middle here would be kind of rough. You could take a vehicle. Somebody's already probably at this house here. And then there's a scav there. Buy station. Most likely somebody's at the little fire station here. There's probably people in train station rotating in. Yeah, this is a little bit tough. Still would probably rotate. Maybe get on the high ground here next to the buy station. But unfortunately, they don't have a lot of utility in the form of money to be able to buy items to actually like find out where people are, even though people are going to rock Ghost or whatever at this point in the game and are probably moving around or whatever. It makes it a little bit tricky. You can stay in the zone for here for a while. You might want to move the vehicle though. If it sits in the gas, I believe it'll take the tick damage. So we'll see. Maybe they're in their mind, they're already planning to rotate right as the gas is about to touch. Again, gunfire is coming straight to the left. So somewhere over here, probably. Really hard to tell. But you can kind of pay attention to that awareness, like, and build that image in your head. Okay, somebody's going to be over here. Maybe I rotate up here, then rotate down. This is kind of a weird, bad spot. And maybe try to get to some of these buildings where you can... Oh, they ended up moving the vehicle. GG, smart. They did kind of give away their position, because obviously people can see the vehicle get highlighted red if they're in close proximity. Person sniping now. Full mag dump, okay. They do have a self-revive, which is nice. That's more than a lot of people we've spectated recently. But they got to be careful here, because if they get shot, they can be one shot, self-revive, whatever. They'll lose out on those plates. They are running tempered, so we have an idea of at least 2 of the perks they're running. We don't know what they're running in the perk. No, we got all 3 perks, right? Maybe not. We know they got scavenger. Wait, no, they didn't have scavenger. That was the other guy. Getting confused.
Just moving in. New safe zone location.
Yeah, some guy typed in the chat, hey, gee, I wonder, every building that has an LTV next to it is probably a person. Yes. That's generally how it's going to work. Rotations can be a little bit rough now, but they did move themselves in the top 15 players. Loadout dropped. It looked like there was potentially 2 other loadouts there. So probably the person that's sniping and 1 other player in close proximity, because the loadouts still do have that proximity logic. And if you're particularly knowledgeable of the game, you can actually force where your loadout's going to spawn. But that's a little bit more advanced stuff. That we could probably talk about in other videos, because that's more of like older logic that we haven't covered too much in a while, but it's because it really wasn't necessary, right? Because people are just buying their guns from the loadout, super free, all that type of stuff. Okay, making the rotation. Can I pan out? No, I can't angle my view. Okay, where they did mark center zone. They're trying to get to that building. There's nothing nearby. There's somebody sniping in the top of that building. They're going to be on the low ground inside this building, so they basically cannot go to the roof, and they'll have to stay in the building. The roof is you're too exposed. Get a little backup there. Go throw another one. So they kind of got to stay in here, which doesn't have a lot of vantage points, because that person's sniping on top of the train station, or the building next door, not the train station. They're sniping from this little building that the buy station's at. So that's why they probably didn't overchow, because obviously at that range, that's an easy headshot snipe. No question. That's probably only like 70 meters or something. Person has... Ooh, that sucks. The other person that's sniping is still perfectly in the zone. I wonder if they potentially did some recons, because where that zone cuts off is right where they're at. This person will have to move again. Moving into the top 10, they just get the resupply, so they got a little bit of a ping where some of these not contracts, but crates are. Somebody's rotating in. You hear the gunfire. And the hard part about here is you kind of got to do a little bit of a spray and pray on some of these vehicles so that, like, when it comes time to it, you're not getting caught with like 5 vehicles in the zone. Luckily, this is more of a building zone because there's like all surrounded by buildings. A vehicle will be less of an issue, but vehicles will still be an issue in this zone. Okay. Again, like we talked about, there's not a ton of utility in looting, especially if you already have pretty much the items you want. Because of the way the current loot system works. So it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, cool, great, I don't have to loot. But if you actually needed stuff, then looting won't help in that area. All right, cool. Let's see the zone. They want to win. W. And I know I say that, and some people are like, duh, people want to win. This person seems like they want to win and have a general idea on at least how to do that. Some people do not actually want to win, or they think they do, but they don't do anything in their power to position themselves to have a chance at winning. They don't do any contracts like they've struggled to do. This person set up with their loadout. They have the heartbeat. They have perks set up. They're not over engaging because plates are so hard to come by. If they do get into a gunfight, so he just lost 1 plate there. But if they get into a gunfight, they're more likely to get into issues with ammo. That person's still sniping to the left. Watch out. Okay, you do have a gas mask. Holy, this is risky. You're in the zone, maybe? Okay, they can see where people are pinging. So they must see somebody in that general area. Nice. Useful heartbeat sensor. I don't know how useful that smoke is, but they landed that there. They might have a restock or whatever the hell the perk is called, because I think they have restock. Yeah, there it is. They do have that restock.
Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone.
That is a crappy pull for them. And again, I think the other person may have done recons because it pulled directly where it needed to. You can hear the person to the footsteps to the left. It's very unforgiving. If you sprint here, people can hear you coming. There's one there. You got to be trigger disciplined. That person's distracting for you. Nice free kill. Super insane trigger discipline there. Nice. Gets that one. Got to watch out. You're going to be stuck out of the gas. Some smokes could be helpful for the rotation here. That vehicle could have been super handy if it's not, like, tagged up with explosives. But you got to find out where the 2 people are. You're sprinting a little too much towards the end here without the awareness of where people are. Holy, that zone. You hear him? Nice. Where's the last one? This guy could win. Got to be careful. Holy, the way he went up the stairs is so scary. That guy's going to be in the cubby, or I don't know where the guy is. Daryl! Oh, no. Clutch it, bro. You got it, Clutch.
That was close.
Oh, man, I was scared for him. Replated. You can get up top, I think. Your gun might not be reloaded. Oh, his gun wasn't reloaded. I don't know how many bullets he had. He kind of sold. GG's. We got another one coming up. What a great ending to the match that was. Holy. We're actually doing a second spectating randoms. Enough people in the previous video was like, hey, I want these every day. And I was like, I don't know if I can do every day, but maybe I stack 2 in a video. We'll see how that goes and see how people like that, because I think there's still a lot, like the last match was like so good to watch and spectate and kind of give ideas on how people are doing things. And I think that person was a relatively good player, and they probably win those most of the time. And it just kind of, they had a rough ending there. So kind of let me know your thoughts. I can hear someone here. This person, keyboard and mouse. Holy, they got destroyed. Wonder if this person had a heartbeat. We're going to go to the gulag though. See how their gun is in the gulag. Probably pretty bad. I know that's one of the things with keyboard and mouse players. They tend to complain a lot about aim assist, which is relatively fair because of one big issue is the visibility in this game. When you fire a gun, the gun, if it does any kind of mobility upward, not the recoil, just the visual shake of the gun, it'll overlay the player outline and you cannot physically see the player. On aim assist though, you can have that feel, because sometimes when your crosshairs are somewhere, they don't move as fast because it feels like they have that drag or mud, digging through mud fill, and that becomes an issue. So keyboard and mouse, although they can whip and snap and aim and be a little bit more accurate with a sniper rifle even, and being able to take on multiple targets rapidly, they do struggle significantly with being able to track targets once they fire their weapon. And it's particularly bad in the gulag because it's pistol gulag. You have to semi-fire and you lose that visibility. A little bit of a ratty spot here, not gonna lie. They did take damage. Nice. Gonna go ahead and go for the middle. You're dead. We knew that was gonna happen. Keyboard and mouse, they didn't play to their strengths. You got to use smokes and run through the smoke, because then that breaks the aim assist of a player. We don't even spectate the gulag player. We get Willie Milano. Prestige, what is that, 5 or 6 or something? He said, heck no, I ain't prestige no more. Gives a little bit of intel. Over here at Promenade, camping it up. Did get a bounty. I say camping it up, but they're still early looting. Damn, what is the luck on that? Got a UAV out of there? Not really much intel. They do kind of have to be a little bit aggressive if they do want to get this bounty. They might have a counter bounty, because their bounty just died. Okay. So, rocking the AK HDR. This is a pretty solid setup. Okay, they're not running scav. They haven't gone to the gulag. Tempered. See if we can guess their other perks. He's getting sniped from up top. Watch out. You see him on the mini-map. And you did see the glint. Half their plates gone. Oh, they got lucky. Got a little bit of plates there. Nice. Rotation's a little bit rough. They do have an LTV, which I promise you, if you commit to using LTVs in your solo gameplay, on average, your placement will be better. Just on average. If you rotate somewhere in the middle, you're not going to win all the time, but you're going to be surviving much longer. Dude's name is Toucan Sam. You can't see it because it's behind my camera. He said my mom died so you could have feathers. What the hell? Ay, ay, ay. So many camper. And this is what I was going to talk about. One of the most common things that you'll hear people say is there's so many campers. Man, this dude was camping the buy station. And although, yes, oh, that guy popping up on the mini-map. Wait, is that a decoy? I only saw 2 little pings there, so I don't know. But one thing is, yes, people do camp those things, but a good percentage of those is also people not camping those, right? It's just coincidence. If there's only one buy station in like 4 grid squares, like, yeah, I gotta go to that buy station. Oh, we might be able to get an easy kill here. You're running across, get him. There's your chance, too slow. Holy, they took too long. So what ends up happening is it'll be like, are they camping the buy station? In some instances, it's just bad timing. They just happen to get there, I don't know, 10 seconds before you. They happen to be looting. They maybe check the mini map, and then they hear you running through. Glunk, 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 glunk. Come out and shoot you. Man, that dude was camping. Like, bro. He was just at the buy station 10 seconds before you. What do you want him to do? Bet you come through, you go in there, same thing happens. You're not camping. But yeah, there are some instances where people will 100% be camping a buy station, a loadout, zone, power position, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes they're smart and sometimes there's not, right? There's good ways to quote unquote effectively camp, and then there's bad ways, right? All right. No chest, no safe there, no safe. All right, so they may be going for the double loadout here. They went overkill off the rip. That could be good if they die, go to the gulag, and come back. They do need a plate. That dude's zooming. And that's after the movement nerf. Pretty confident this gun kills so fast, though. This guy seems pretty good. Almost got stunned. Only got one plate in, going for the reload. Good nade is gonna bait him. Oh, there's another person, didn't matter. I think there's somebody sniping from downtown or hospital. Unfortunate. Oh, they're going to gulag now. See if they can survive. Seemed like a relatively decent player. AS Val. We're in zone 2. The loadouts have swapped. But the health is still 150. Gonna get uber deleted here. So you can hear the audio. They come in on the right side. The audio is so crisp. I don't run any filters. In the gulag, it's so crystal clear. You're at a huge disadvantage if you sprint at all. The gulag currently with the health is the ADS gulag. You walk out, as soon as you hear them, you can even jump around the corner and pre-fire. That's how good the audio cues are at the moment. At least for the gulag. Not everywhere, but at least for the gulag. So that person got slammed. Now we're on with this guy who just won the gulag, I believe. Gold chest. Noise. Gas mask is nice. The supply runs have spawned in now that we're in zone 2. We'll see if they're going to do any contracts. As we can see on the left-hand side, 0 multiplier. Okay. They got their loadout though, so see what they're rocking with. Let's take a quick look at zone. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere soon. All right, so another one of these tough zones where this position next to this buy station is going to be highly trafficked. You can kind of hang out in this area. Be a lot of fighting. Down here, it's probably going to pull. This little police department area, pretty good. Fire station, also good. You just want to post up and win. And then it gives you a good vantage point with the sniper. You need more cash. Get some more utility. Need a self-revive. Need a 3-plate satchel. You can see them running around with their melee weapons, though. Unlimited. So they're going up to here where I said it's going to be highly contested. I would not be surprised if somebody is camping up here. You can see where the next buy station is. Over here. Over here. Over there. So there's decent room, but I feel like somebody is going to be in this general area. Maybe not. Unlooted chest, but door is open. Maybe they get bad timing. You can hear the gunfire. Somebody landing nearby. Vehicle coming in. This one's a really tough spot, especially this building right next to him, because when you get up top there, the vantage point is pretty rough. And I believe it's only a ladder up one of the sides. They got the self-revive, so that's cool in case they get sniped at range. Can get to cover. But you can hear someone sniping. And it seems like somebody's shooting at that vehicle and then somebody to the right. There's a lot of nonsense going on right now. Patient, I heard footsteps. There they go. So still people fighting to your left behind you, to your right. over the edge, but that one's probably distance. Easy. The Terminator skin. Ay, ay, ay. But you'll get comms banned if you say that. Such a silly system. Just laying out in the bush. Cheeseball Terminator skins. So that's the guy that he probably killed right now. It is a cheeseball skin, even though they did nerf it or whatever. Damn, he got a little bit of a bag there. Got to be careful here. That LTV is driving around. I need help at stadium. What the hell? This guy's role-playing this Toucan Sam.
You asshole.
So he got the UAV. We can see what they buy, but it still doesn't pop up on the HUD inventory. Guys up top. Holy. He snapped to him pretty aggressively, though. Getting pushed.
Gas is moving in. New safe
Oh.
zone located.
Destroyed. Because his gun kills in like 500 milliseconds. Still more people fighting. Down to the right there. You can get another UAV. Place is popping. Like I said, this is what I was concerned for this player. Coming over here, it turned out that they benefited and ended up doing what I was concerned for them to the other players, right? This position is just gross. Like, I would just avoid it. It's awful. I guess unless you really post it up and trying to take advantage. Okay, what's gonna happen? You're just waiting, dog, or what? Waiting for audio, anything? All camping. No, that's what it says on the right. I might have to move my camera for future videos so you guys can see the chat. As long as people ain't being racist or out of pocket like crazy, it's fine.
I'll be back.
Damn. When you're standing still, the audio is just ridiculous. Still more people to the left. Oh, I just heard somebody die. I thought I heard one of those, you know? Towards this direction. Or to the right, rather. Obviously, my camera looks opposite because I'm looking at this way. Okay, so you can hear them. At least the gunfire. It looked like it's up in the direction that you just came from, so I don't know what the deal is. You can see on the mini-map, though, it's again outlined. So that's the person close by. That person probably popped one. Maybe the other one. Again, spectator might be bugged, but that red outline is still there. This person's probably going to die. Yeah, and I think that's the confusing part for a lot of players, because even though we have kind of gone back to OG, there's so many like interesting quality of life things that have been done to the game over the years where people just don't know them. See, they modified the layout of this building on that floor just to make it a little bit more ergonomic inside. Not ergonomic, but like usable friendly, I guess. See how the room is completely open? It used to be each like door, right? So that opens it up quite a bit. And it's like less rooms you got to check. It just streamlines the building just a little bit, which is nice. Huge W, I think. I think there's a bunch of these things that have happened around the map that people don't talk about because they did a good job. If they were bad, everyone would be like, oh, they ruined this building. They ruined that building. I think they took like the chance to do the thing the right way, right? The guy's asking, why is everyone camping? It's solos, dog. You want to catch people running around? Go to casual. Go to trios or quads. Duos and solos tend to camp. That's just how it goes. Because the game is very punishing. You get caught out of position, you dead. You rotate early, someone's already camping, you're dead. Rotate late, you're dead. You get a bad zone pull, you're dead. You have a UAV loadout, you don't, you're dead. And that's the way a battle royale should feel. I think solos could be tweaked just a little bit. But overall, I think they've nailed it for trios and quads. That's mostly what I've played. I haven't played really any duos or solos. because of this. These are the people you're playing against. And you're wondering why, like, dude's camping. This is how people play. Like, unless your metaphor that sprints around the map, like chasing kills nonstop, and you're at least decent to a similar skill level, this is how people are playing in your lobby. Good luck. But one thing a lot of people talk about is like, JGOD, you're ruining the game. You put out a meta video. Now everyone's going to know the meta.
Phased plasma rifle.
I think we
in
spectated
40
the 2
range.
matches. If you don't know the meta after the first match, to see that it's replicated in the second match, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. This is how it was before I ever made a video. This is how it is every time. I can spectate one match and you'll know the meta after that one match. If you really want to know you're new coming back, just put your thing down, AFK, check out what everyone's using. All right, cool. That's the meta. I'm on it. It's really that easy. I know people like to overthink it and all that stuff, but it's really that easy. 17 people left. The circle's small. This isn't a small circle. Half of these people will probably die, though, on the rotation now. This is such a dangerous position, but it is a good power position. They have changed things a little bit where it is easier to get sniped from up here. But if you maintain a low profile, you should be relatively fine. So what do you guys think? You think this guy is going to end up winning? LTV. You can see it. Ooh. So he's rocking a different optic on there. So it has the optic. It looks like maybe the mag, the barrel, the muzzle, probably ammo. I don't know what they have for because it doesn't highlight all 5, I guess, on the blue thing. I'm pretty sure it's ammo would be the 5th attachment.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's like the 50 Cent. What do you say? What do you say that for me for?
Relocating safe zone.
Okay, this is a terrible rotation for this player. Because, as you can see, somebody's already here. Somebody's already here. PD, somebody's probably already there. Somebody was just there. They're rotating in. LTV Central. Better than Bertha's, I will admit. So there they are, the 3 of them fighting. Still maintaining a low profile, but the rotation will be difficult. They are rocking C4, which is pretty good. They did like nerf how fast you can make them blow up, but they're super powerful on vehicles. They need to like revert it so that you could just launch that.
Think clean, right.
Oh, you might get that one. Oh, that guy get downed? They could get the vehicle.
You've made it to the top 10.
Risky though. They got to worry about this dude in this vehicle here. Oh, he's swapping vehicles. Damn, they're seeing your probably. Wonder if they're running a non-glint optic. I don't know. I'm not familiar. I haven't ran this optic, so I'm not sure if this is a glint one. The zoom looks high enough where it should glint, but I'm not 100% sure offhand. He hasn't ADS'd enough with it. No, maybe this isn't a glint. What is this, like this is a 3X or something? I haven't played enough with the HDR optics. I just use the default one. Okay, straight to the melee weapons because of that unlimited tag sprint. In the zone, has some hard cover in front of them. Their back is mostly clear. We know that somebody took the vehicle here and took off. And this guy's probably not going to get out. You want to kind of maintain a low profile?
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Oh, but this zone is so trash for you. Zone is so bad. You'd want this building next to the buy. because there's not a lot of hard cover here. The way the incline is on the decline rather, car tomfoolery. That's what they said. Ay, ay, ay. Just walk in with the zone and pray, right? That's all you can kind of do. You got to get a pick here. That's another person dead. Toucan Sam is still in the game. Damn. The vehicle much further away. There's 2 and somebody landing in. So 3's on that side of the zone plus use 4. There's 5 other people somewhere. Got a good snipe. Oh, he got counter sniped. Oh, the confidence to hang in there. But the person's still in front of you. And you're dead. Should have thrown the smoke. They should have thrown the smoke. Someone says car meta. Yep, they should have thrown the smoke, sadly. They had the smokes. They had plenty of time in the gas before they jumped down. They could have thrown a smoke or done the cluster, then thrown the smoke to give them a little bit of cover. Because the cluster would have been coming in, that would have bought them time to rotate. Still bad position, still bad rotation because of the way the zone pooled. And you can see it's vehicle Royale. But keep in mind, this is how things ended up the way they did with Warzone 2. They ended up complaining about vehicles. The casuals did because they were like, oh, they're too powerful. So they nerfed vehicles, right? Because good players are going to jump into vehicles. Ooh, pretty smart. Dead. You gotta use your mini-map, dog. I called it beforehand. Then what they did is then they added zips to get around the map because obviously too many casuals were dying to the gas. So it changed that they made for casuals, ended up hurting casuals. Bro. Okay, we got 5 people and everyone's in a vehicle pretty much.
I'm good.
Well, then now casuals die too much, so then they give them gulag tokens. And then a change that's made for casuals ends up being beneficial to sweats. So it's like a domino effect when they actually try to cater to casuals. What they really need to do is just look at what features make the game good and not necessarily think about them as we have to design this for casuals and we don't have to design this for sweats. Just make good features, right? Gonna get sniped. Ooh, sniper. And is that the AK? Oh my God, that's a new meta. We haven't seen that yet today. Interesting. See, you learn something new every single match. Nice, goes for the chow, and you're dead. Oh, you thread the needle. Oh, you got stuck. Or no, you didn't get stuck. You run over now. Holy, getting sniped. I called it earlier. Vehicle meta, vehicle cheese. Ooh, that crunch was so good. Now it's a 1v1. Are they gonna race? Oh, they're racing. Who's going to take the shot first? This is where you seat swap and start mag dumping. Guy has no plates. No plates. Tacticals lethal show 0, but we don't. Oh, their vehicle's done. They're dead. They are so dead. Okay, they did have them. Nice. Oh, holy, what a W. GG's. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate the support. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.